I'm Kelly Chivvis with Kelly Jane Fitness, bringing you the initiative, the Greene County Parks and Rec called Move It Monday. Today we're going to be going over how to use some household summer items to make a great obstacle course in your backyard for your kids of any ages, or maybe you as well. What we gotta do with an obstacle course is just get kids moving. The whole point of it is just get them moving, get them changing directions, wear them out, okay? If you set up a beautiful obstacle course with some of the tips I'm giving you, and they do something different with it, who cares? We're just here to have fun and to get moving as a family, okay? So the first supply that I love is a pool noodle. A pool noodle can be used for so many different things. So you can see behind me, I have an arch. What I love about arches is kids can crawl underneath of them on their bellies. They can crawl underneath of them on their backs. Bigger kids can leap over them. They can use 2 feet and hop over them. You can use them with a ball and another pool noodle to bat it underneath, like kind of like a soccer goal or croquet set, anything like that. The pool noodle can be used for so many different things. So pool noodles are kind of essential to any outdoor obstacle course that I ever set up. They're cheap, easy to get a hold of this time of the year. If you don't have them, your neighbors probably have them. Just grab some pool noodles. The way to fashion them into the ground is I personally use a wine cork that I've stuck a toothpick into. Can you see that there? I put 2 in the ground, and then the holes that the pool noodle has and make the arch, and it just lays perfectly on that. Some people will use like a big pen with a cap on it and shove that down in there. That works too. I'm sure you can find something laying around. Pinterest often advertises using barbecue skewers. You'll see tons of tutorials saying to do that. I don't like using those, and I've used them in the past, and I don't like it. The sharp edges can pierce through the pool noodle no matter how short you make it and become a hazard, especially for little kids who may push down on the pool noodle, fall on it, whatnot. So stay away from that if you can, and try something, even like a piece of styrofoam with a toothpick shoved through it. That'll hold your pool noodle. So moving on from pool noodles, we love sidewalk chalk around here. Lots and lots of sidewalk chalk. Sidewalk chalk can be designed to make a hopscotch course. It can make a start to finish line. It can make zigzags for people to run on. It can make goals if you have something you want to toss at it. Sidewalk chalk can create just about anything you want to, even just encouraging messages to get your kids moving. You can identify different stations. Sidewalk chalk is always for the win. We also like to use balls, lots and lots of balls. Beach balls, these rubber balls that you can get from places like Walmart, they can be used to shove underneath your noodle here. You can hold them above your head and run around. It makes it difficult running up a hill with a ball above your head. You can put them between your knees and you can waddle from station to station. You can toss them around your waist a certain amount of times at a station. All kinds of fun stuff can be done with just a basic ball. One of my favorite things to do with the older kids, like the teenagers, put it on the ground, make them do a bear crawl and push it, push it, push it, push it. That gets a little bit harder, a little more progressive for your older kids, right? Okay, moving on from the balls. I love adding balloons to things, especially my arches. I'm going back to these arches every time. I love filling up some balloons, tying them to a string and hanging here, so when the kids go through, they're kind of bashing through balloons. Just makes it a little more fun. You can also take balloons and make them into water balloons. Now with water balloons, they can toss them at a target, they can toss them at each other, they can do all kinds of fun things. One of the most recent cool things I saw was to do a water balloon piñata. So essentially you would hang a big heavy string, a ratchet strap, whatnot, between 2 posts, 2 trees, and you would hang water balloons on additional strings like a dangling pendulum, and you would whack it like a piñata. Use a bat, use a broomstick, use a sharp stick from your backyard. You can do that in a series of maybe 5 or 6 in a row, and then continue on. They could have to knock it out a certain amount in a certain amount of time. You can be as creative as you want with that. But remember, when you're using balloons and they pop in your yard, make sure to clean them up, not only for the safety of your mower, but just the safety of the animals who may ingest some of that rubber that's laying around, okay? So that's my tip with balloons. Other things here, bubbles. Bubbles are a staple in our household. You can make an obstacle with them as far as they can pop them, they have to run through them, but just bubbles in general just heighten the atmosphere. They make them so much more fun. I've made preschool obstacle courses for my son's preschool, and the bubbles just changed the whole game. Teenagers love bubbles. They'll pretend like they're too cool for them. Do the bubbles anyways. Mom, you can sit there and blow them yourself, or if you have a bubble machine, you can make a whole big beautiful bubble setup, okay? So I love adding bubbles. Another fun thing to do is hula hoops. Hula hoops, you can do the basic around the hips, at a station for an obstacle course. You can make them put around a wrist and do them. I've seen kids do them around their necks. For littler kids, they can use it almost like a jump rope. They go through them. You can have them on the ground and toss things at them to make like a point station. They can hop through them. There's so many different things that you can do with hula hoops. Old posts. If you have any old 2x4s, big posts laying around, just set them on a flat, safe area of your ground and use them as a balance beam. Even if it's for a bigger kid, it seems like it would be so easy just to walk across a 2x4, but just to put your focus down, your head down, and try and walk across that, even if it's a short piece, like a 4-foot piece, just adds another dimension to your obstacle course. Pillow races. You know the old potato sack things we used to do when we were kids? Those are hard to come by these days without having to special order them. Use an old pillowcase and do a potato sack race with a pillowcase. Now, obviously, if you have a very, very tall teenager and may only go on their knees, that may be more fun. Make them work a little bit and hop with that pillowcase, okay? Another fun thing is beanbag tosses. If you don't have beanbags at home, it's so easy to make them. You can take a sock and tie it up with any kind of string, dental floss, fishing wire, and you're gonna fill it up with rice, with beans, with some sand, anything that make it heavy. So that's one way to make a beanbag. Another way is to use a Ziploc bag, okay? And I would advise just taping the end of the Ziploc bag. I've done them myself and I just use a little bit of duct tape to hold the Ziploc together as it tosses and falls. You don't want it to, bust out and go crazy. So those are other things you can do. Beanbags can be used for a point system. You know, how far can they throw? How can they get it into a hula hoop that's 50 points here, a hula hoop that's 70 points there? All kinds of different things. If you have a team set up, you can do a toss a beanbag and the other person the opponent has to like hop to that certain position in a certain amount of time. Be creative with these. These are all just basic things you have at home that you can make into such a fun game and fun atmosphere for any age group, okay? Another good station to have is kind of a rest and recovery station. So if you've got kids darting side to side, spinning, throwing, they're gonna need a station where they kind of just recuperate and get back to it. That's when it's fun to add things like remote control cars into there. Maybe you have some cones set up and they just have to maneuver the remote control car around, come back, and then they can take off again. That could give them up to 30 seconds, maybe even a minute, depends on how difficult you have it set up, to catch their breath, to kind of grab a drink of water while their teammate's doing it, their sister or brother. That's kind of just a fun thing to add in that works on some fine motor skills, you know, with the remote control going and adds a new dynamic. Maybe mom and dad, you can do this as well, okay, the remote control. Some of the things I want to tell you to look up if you want to add on to your obstacle courses, and I have them all written down here. If you go to Pinterest, if you go to Google, some of the keywords you can look up for more ideas includes just kids obstacle course, Nerf obstacle course. Oh my gosh, Nerf would be so much fun if you stacked some cups in a pyramid style and you have one of those Nerf footballs with the long tail on it and you have to toss at it and see how many you can knock down. You can do the same thing with water guns. So that would be another one to look up is water obstacle course. You can look up just the keywords summer obstacle course, pool noodle obstacle course. Oh my gosh, that's where I get a lot of my ideas. That's where the whole arch thing kicked off with. It was a pool obstacle Google search. A pool noodle obstacle course Google search. Backyard games for kids. All of those keywords will bring up some great ideas that I've already told you about and show you a visual of them or give you more ideas to continue. I hope this gave you some ideas to spruce up your backyard, have a little more fun with your kids. And my final thing I want to say is don't worry about keeping everything perfect. If you don't have one item but you really want to do something, try something else. Use your imagination. For instance, we are not a fan of water balloons in our own backyard, so this year I made my own version of them. These are called water bombs and you can find them on tutorials on Pinterest. They are just sponges that are cut up and tied together with one of those clear elastic bands, hair bands. I have a whole bucket of them. You soak them, you can toss them at each other. You can use them just about in any way you would of a regular water balloon. There's no mess in your yard and they can dry out and be used all summer long. So if some of these ideas spark your interest, but you don't have the things or you don't like necessarily the way it's gonna happen, just like this for us, here you go, get creative. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Happy Move It Monday, and I'll see you next week.